Animal fibers. Learning objectives. Natural fibers. Types of animal fibers. Properties of wool. Sources, processing and manufacturing of wool. Wool production. Silk. Sericulture. A fiber is a kind of thread which is used to make clothes, nets, ropes, etc. Ancient people used to cover their bodies with leaves and bark of trees. Now we cover our bodies with different type of clothes. These clothes are made up of threads. Threads are made from fibers. Fibers are of two types, natural fibers and man-made fibers. In this chapter we will discuss about animal fibers, wool obtained from sheep and silk obtained from silkworms. Natural fibers. Nature provides us with kinds of fibers that can be made into clothes. All the fibers gathered from plants and animals are called natural fibers. Natural fibers are of two types, plant fibers and animal fibers. Plant fibers. Natural fibers obtained from plants like cotton plant, jute plant, coconut, etc. are plant fibers. All plants have fiber in their body. For example, cotton and mango have fiber in their seeds. Jute plant has fiber in its stem. Banana tree has fiber on its leaf. Cotton seed. Jute stem. Banana leaf. Animal fibers. Natural fibers are also obtained from animals like sheep, goat, camel, silkworm, etc. A variety of animals provide natural fibers for clothes. Wool comes from sheep, llama, alpaca, guanaco and vicuna. Cashmere from Kashmiri goats is another well-known clothing fiber. The large, white moth caterpillar, commonly called the silkworm, provides the finest silk. Types of animal fibers. Animal fibers are obtained from sheep, goat, camel and rabbit, etc. These fibers contain keratin protein which is twisted to make long strands. These fibers are classified on the basis of their sources. Their qualities vary from sources. Sheep wool. Wool, spun from the fleece of sheep, is versatile, durable and elastic. The best quality of wool comes from the fleece of merino sheep. Air space of wool fibers acts as an insulating layer between body and surrounding. About 40% of total wool production of world comes from merino wool. The collection of wool from the sheep by cutting with clippers is called shearing. Sheep wool. Goat wool. Angora, Pashmina, Cashmere are the most important breeds of goat. The Angora wools are soft, fluffy and extremely lightweight. The Cashmere goat wool is very soft and suitable for dyes. Angora. Pashmina. Kashmiri goat. Camel wool. Camel has a very thick coat of hair. The fleece is generally shed once a year during summer. Properties of wool. The quality of wool varies with different breeds of sheep. The quality of fiber of wool is determined by the crimp, yield, color and staple strength. The number of crimps determine the finest quality of wool fibers. A merino fiber wool may have 40 crimps per centimeter, whereas cause wool may have one or less than 1 crimp per centimeter. The crimps in the wool fiber make it possible to spin and help to grab each other. Crimp wool fabrics have a greater bulk than other textiles. They can hold lots of air. It makes wool good insulator of heat. Due to the crimps, fiber of wool becomes tensile, strong and develops elastic properties. Moreover, this woolen fiber can easily be dyed, is lightweight and has the ability to retain shape. Merino fiber. Sources, processing and manufacturing of wool. The main sources of wool is selective domesticated sheep. The quality of sheep wool is dependent upon by nutrition, climate and caring of breeds. The fleece is shorn during spring or mostly summer once in a year. In warm region, shearing occurs twice in a year. It is usually done by mechanical process. The maximum weight of fleece produced by a better breed of sheep is about 4 to 5 kilograms per year. The major steps necessary to process wool from the sheep to the fabric are shearing, cleaning and scouring, grading, sorting, carding, spinning, weaving, and finishing. Shearing. Cutting or shaving the wool off a sheep is called shearing. Shearing doesn't usually hurt a sheep. It's just like getting a haircut. However, shearing requires skill so that the sheep is shorn efficiently and quickly without causing cuts or injuries to the sheep or shearer. Most sheep are sheared with electric shears or shearing machines. The fleece is removed in one piece. Shearing sheep. Some sheep are sheared manually with scissors or hand blades. While some farmers shear their own sheep, many hire professional sheep shearers. In many countries, including the United States, there is a growing shortage of qualified sheep shearers. Shearing. Sci facts. A veteran shearer can shear up to 200 sheep per day. The fleece recovered from a sheep can weigh between 6 and 18 pounds, 2.7 and 8.1 kilograms. As much as possible, the fleece is kept in one piece. Grading and sorting. Grading is the breaking up of the fleece based on overall quality. In sorting, the wool is broken up into sections of different quality fibers from different parts of the body. The best quality of wool comes from the shoulders and sides of the sheep and is used for clothing. The lesser quality comes from the lower legs and is used to make rugs. In wool grading, high quality does not always mean high durability. Grading of wool. Sorting of wool. Cleaning and scouring. Wool taken directly from the sheep is called raw or grease wool. It contains sand, dirt, grease, and dried sweat, called suint. The weight of contaminants accounts for about 30 to 70% of the fleece's total weight. To remove these contaminants, the wool is scoured in a series of alkaline baths containing water, soap, and soda ash or a similar alkali. The byproducts from this process, such as lanolin, are saved and used in a variety of household products. Rollers in the scouring machines squeeze excess water from the fleece, but the fleece is not allowed to dry completely. Following this process, the wool is often treated with oil to give it increased manageability. Wool scouring. Spinning. Thread is formed by spinning the fibers together to form one strand of yarn. The strand is spun with 2, 3, or 4 other strands. Since the fibers cling and stick to one another, it is fairly easy to join, extend, and spin wool into yarn. Spinning for woolen yarns is typically done on a mule spinning machine, while worsted yarns can be spun on any number of spinning machines. After the yarn is spun, it is wrapped around bobbins, cones, or commercial drums. Wool spinning. Weaving. Next, the wool yarn is woven into fabric. Wool manufacturers use two basic weaves, the plain weave and the twill. Woolen yarns are made into fabric using a plain weave, rarely a twill, which produces a fabric of a somewhat looser weave and a soft surface, due to napping, with little or no luster. Worsted yarns can create fine fabrics with exquisite patterns using a twill weave. The result is a more tightly woven, smooth fabric. Better constructed, worsteds are more durable than woolens and therefore more costly. Wool weaving into fabric. Finishing. After weaving, both worsteds and woolens undergo a series of finishing procedures including fulling, immersing the fabric in water to make the fibers interlock, crabbing, permanently setting the interlock, decaying, shrink-proofing, and, occasionally, dyeing. Although wool fibers can be dyed before the carding process, dyeing can also be done after the wool has been woven into fabric. Woolen garments. Wool production. Australia is the largest wool producer of the world. The contribution of Australia to wool production is approximate 29% of world total consumption. Russia, New Zealand, China, Argentina and South Africa are the other producers of wool. In India, most of the wool is produced in Himalayan region. The annual wool production of our country is around 43 to 46 million kilogram. It accounts for about 2% of the world's total production. Uses of wool. 1. Wool is used for making fabrics, shawls, blanket, carpets, felt, etc. 2. Cover of piano hammers are made up of wools. Wool fabric is also used to absorb noise in heavy machinery and stereo speakers. 3. Sometime used wool is also used for making cheap woolen garments and blanket. Silk. Silk is a natural protein fiber. It is produced from the silkworm. Silkworms feed on mulberry leaves. It is lustrous, soft, strong and hard and produced in long continuous strands. It contains keratin protein but sulfur is absent. Due to lustrous appearance and desirable properties of silk, the demand of silk increases. Silk was first discovered and developed in China about 300 BC. Later on, Japan, India, Roman Empire entered in this field. In India, the forming of silk is done in large scale mainly in the states of Assam, Bihar, MP, Odisha, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu. There are 3 grades of silk. The finest quality of silk is produced from unwound filament. It is referred as reeled silk. It is purely white color. Silk remaining from the reeling process will become raw material for carded or combed, spun silk yarn. It is slightly honey color. The remaining sort of fibers after combing process are used to make veil yarn. Silk fiber. Sericulture. Moth. Caterpillar. Cocoon. The art of rearing silk for the production of silk is called sericulture. It involves the incubation of the tiny eggs of the silkworm moth until they hatch and become worm. After hatching, the silkworms are placed over finely chopped mulberry leaves. The worms eat mulberry leaves continuously for 6 weeks. At the end, they are ready to spin their cocoons. The branches of tree or shrubs are placed in their rearing house. The silkworms climb up on the branches of shrub and make their cocoons in one continuous thread. It takes about 8 days to spin one cocoon. The quantity of usable silk from each cocoon is very small. Approximate 5,500 silkworms are required to produce 1 kilogram of raw silk. After the completion of cocoons, they are gathered. The first step of manufacturing of silk is to kill the insect inside the cocoons. For the killing of insects, the cocoons are placed in boiling water. The boiling water not only kills the insect, it also helps to remove the gummy substance held by the cocoon filaments. The cocoons are then dried and the outer coarse portion is removed. After brushing the filaments, 4 to 8 cocoons are joined and twisted. The twisted filaments are combined with number of other similar twisted filaments to make thread. The collected threads are called raw silk. The process of obtaining silk fibers from the cocoon is called reeling or filature. It is important to know that 1% of total harvest of cocoons is not boiled. The insects inside the cocoons are allowed to mature to produce silk moth. The silk moth is cut through the colors and is allowed to breed for silkworm eggs for future production of silk. Life cycle of silkworm. Difference between natural silk and wool fiber from synthetic fibers. No. Characteristics. Cloth. Observation. 1. Burns or melts. Silk wool artificial cloth. Burns melts. 2. Smell. Silk wool artificial cloth. No strong odor, burning hair odor, characteristic odor. 3. Residue. Silk and wool artificial cloth. Dull black, hollow, crushes easily to powder. Dark hard bead. 4. Other features. Silk and wool artificial cloth. Self-extinguishing, drops melted on heating. Keywords. Fibers. It is used to make clothes. It may be natural or synthetic fibers. Shearing. Removal of wool from animals. Yolk. The oily substance found in raw wool. Fleece. Wool sheared from sheep. Carding. The process of drawing woolen fibers into straight form. Shoddy. The fabric made from the used wool. Silk. Fine soft thread produced by silkworm cocoons. Cocoons. The fiber cover spun by the silkworm around own body. Sericulture. Rearing of silkworms for the production of silk. Molting. The process of shedding skin. Reeling. The process of collecting of silk thread from cocoons. Summary. Natural fibers or synthetic fibers are used to make clothes. Natural fibers are obtained from animal or plant sources. Animal fibers are generally obtained from sheep or silkworms. The quality of wool fibers is determined by the number of crimps per centimeter. Angora, Pashmina, Cashmere, Kashmiri are the most important breeds of goat. The quality of wool depends upon the individual breeds. Merino sheep wool is supposed to be the best wool. It bears up to 40 crimps per centimeter. Lightweight, height, tensile strength, elasticity and capacity of heat insulation are the basic properties of animal fibers wool. A good quality of sheep produces approx 4 to 5 kilograms of fleece of wool in a year. After sorting, fibers are cleaned by washing with detergent. The cleaned fibers are drawn into a straight continuous form. The management of breeding of silkworm for the production of silk is called sericulture. Silkworms take about 8 days to spin a cocoon. Approximate 5,500 silkworms are required to produce 1 kg of raw silk in a single life cycle. The first stage of producing silkworm is killing of silkworm in boiling water. The obtaining of silk fiber from cocoons is called reeling.